Hello and welcome to True Guidance Tarot. I'm Adriana Theodora Dyer. I'm a spiritual medium and intuitive reader. I wanted to talk to you today about intuition and the importance of raising your vibration. So, a lot of us who are on the intuitive journey were born with natural gifts. In fact, everyone has a natural gift of intuition. But there comes a point where the intuition can only go so far. And then it becomes a question of, well, how do I expand my gifts? How do I make my gifts even bigger? And the answer is not what I would expect. It's not what we might expect. The answer is really having to do with raising your vibration. So what that means is cleaning out your negative patterns, understanding the depths of your conditioning, understanding how to choose not your conditioning and to choose instead the vibration of your heart and the vibration of your soul. That actually expands your intuition. It seems like it shouldn't, or it seems like they're maybe not connected. You kind of think, well, if I let go of my problems, if I let go of my issues and my negative patterns, then I'm just going to have a better, more healthy life. And that's true. But the other thing is that one of the benefits is that your intuition actually gets bumped up a notch. It actually gets raised. So, I'll share my personal experience with this. I came to the intuitive path, to me, fairly late, but, I guess my life isn't probably done yet. So maybe it was early. I don't know. But I was very skeptical. I always had a good sense of timing in terms of relationships, in terms of jobs, in terms of work. I felt like I had a good instinct which told me when my timing was right or when my timing wasn't right. But in terms of spirituality, I was incredibly skeptical. I did not really buy into any of this stuff. In fact, I didn't really buy into it for myself because I just thought that, some people are born clairvoyant and some people aren't. That's just it. You can't do anything to change or develop your gifts. Either you have it or you don't. But there came a point where I felt this need, I felt this pull to learn how to strengthen my intuition because I had been told by a clairvoyant friend that we all have intuition. It's a muscle. And just like anyone can go to the weight room or anyone can work out or anyone can do cardio, anyone can practice their intuition. So I thought, okay, well, how am I going to do this? And I was lucky to find a mentor. And this mentor happened to be not only clairvoyant and clairsentient and claircognizant, she was also a spiritualist. She believed in spiritual principles and knew how to help me raise my vibration. And in raising my vibration, not only did my intuition increase, I actually started hearing my guides. Like I hear words from my guides. I now see pictures. And since I've been working on this facet of myself as well as myself, I am able to actually feel the intuitive information a lot stronger. This is something that has taken, oh goodness, probably between 3 and 5 years to develop, and it's still developing. I have no doubt that it's still going to keep developing. But the point is that, let me go back to kind of the science of how this works. And don't worry, this is not going to turn into a science lecture, but we have a certain vibration here on Earth. Our soul is only light. It only vibrates here. It's only positive energy of love and joy. It's here, but it comes down to the Earth, which is an inherently negative energy plane. Even though it's so beautiful, it's inherently negative energy. And this has always made sense to me because we have gravity being the magnetic force that governs everything on our planet. All of our physical, mechanical laws are governed by gravity. I'm not flying up to the ceiling right now because gravity is holding me down to the earth, down to this chair. So gravity pulls down. It's negative 9.8 meters per second squared, or negative 32 feet per second squared, whatever. But it's a negative quantity. It's down. So when a positive entity or a positive energy comes down to a negative energy, the negative energy is going to be stronger here because that is the nature of our plane. So it is only through conscious awareness that we start to pull away that negativity and connect up with that positivity. And where intuition comes in is intuition is the communication between that positive self here and the positive side of you that's still on the other side, the higher self, the truer self. Intuition is also kind of a blanket term for how our guides talk to us. They may talk to us straight through intuition, or they may send us synchronicities. But either way, it is possible to increase your vibration. It is impossible to increase your intuition, and it is possible to do those things together. So when you increase your vibration, you become more and more transparent, you become more and more light. That's a natural match for your higher self, and that communication becomes quicker. It becomes more easy. It's kind of like when there's a covering here, the light can't reach it, but as we take this covering off, the two lights shine together and there's a clear pathway. So, I hope that this is very inspiring information, because I think there's kind of this idea that some people are born talented and the rest of us are just kind of like, we don't really have a chance. I see this, I'm also a musician. I see this in people's mindsets that somebody must have talent if they're a professional, or somebody must have talent if they're so good at what they do. And some of it is true, but it's a little bit more complicated, because behind the talent, there has to be desire. There has to be willpower. And behind the willpower has to be dedication to the work. So, speaking of myself as a musician, there are things that are naturally easy for me, but there are things that I have to work at. But because it's naturally easy to me and because I love it, I want to work at it. I want to get better. And so then my ability becomes higher, not because I'm just natural at it, but because I want it to work. That natural ability gives me some kind of spark or willpower. I feel it's the same with intuition. That yes, you can have someone who's clairvoyant. Yes, you can come in with mediumship abilities that don't have to be developed. But the thing is that only gets you so far. And the benefit of working on yourself and learning how to live from a higher spiritual perspective, learning how to live without negative patterns, is that the information actually becomes even more powerful. So it's one thing to receive information from the other side, but it's another thing to know what to do with it, to know how to make it helpful. So the other side can tell you things, maybe patterns that aren't working for you, or maybe a diet that you should try that's different, or maybe they'll give you reassurance. But does it really solve the pattern? Does it really solve what's going on inside? I see patterns like dandelions. So you know how dandelions, once the root's in the soil, it keeps throwing up flowers. And you can cut off the flower as much as you like, but that same root is going to keep throwing up flowers. So that root is like your negative pattern. As long as it's sitting there in the soil of your being, in the soil of your psyche, it's going to keep throwing up flowers. And then those flowers are going to turn into those seed heads. And you know what happens with dandelions? It spreads, right? So if you don't have the awareness of a spiritual perspective and yourself as an energetic being with positive and negative attributes, if you don't see yourself that way, then all you're doing is really pulling the dandelion flowers off the head. So I liken that to also spiritual band-aids. When you go to a reading and you feel amazing afterwards, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well then, hang on, I'm back where I was. Or you go to a healing session and you feel amazing after the healing session, but then you're back. If you don't have that spiritual perspective, you don't have the tools for maintenance to help you get out of that pattern permanently. So, would you rather keep pulling the heads off the dandelion, or would you rather just pull the whole plant out, get rid of the root once and for all? So we're kind of off my subject, but when you do that, the byproduct is enhanced intuition. It is an intuition that goes up much higher because it's able to connect with the heart and soul of who you truly are. And that intuition is yours and yours alone, and it speaks just to you and tells you exactly what to do. But what I really want to drive home to you is that nothing is set. Even talented people have to work. Even natural clairvoyants have to work. Maybe they don't have to work at the same things that someone else does, but they have to work. The inspiration to me is that everyone can develop strong intuition. Everyone can develop their own intuitive gifts. It definitely helps if you have some natural talent, but I know that we all have our own unique voice to share and our own unique perspective and our own purpose for being here. And your intuition is the key to realizing that soul purpose and to realizing that soul destiny. So thanks so much for joining me and for listening to these thoughts. If you've got questions or you want to leave a comment below, that's always lovely to hear from you. And until next time, have a great week and enjoy.